Welcome back to another explainer. I am super thrilled to have you here today because, well, we're going to completely demystify what really drives a business. We usually look at companies from the outside, right? We just see the slick products they sell. But behind the scenes, it's like a complex, living ecosystem full of competing interests, shifting alliances, and this constant tug of war. So today, we are diving into that hidden drama and the ultimate balancing act that literally determines whether a business succeeds or fails.
All right, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll hit the core objectives first, then look at why those objectives evolve. After that, setting SMART goals, mapping out the stakeholders, diving into the ultimate tug of war, and finally, solving business conflicts. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The core objectives. Why do businesses exist?
Okay, let's dive into this. Every single organization needs a reason to exist, right? A foundational aim that guides absolutely every decision it makes. Just imagine opening a brand new coffee shop in your neighborhood. On day one, your absolute baseline target is just survival. You literally just want to keep the lights on and the doors open. But once you're stable, that focus naturally shifts to profit. And just as a quick refresher, profit is simply your total sales revenue minus all your costs. It's the reward for the owner and honestly the fuel for reinvesting back into the company. Then you've got growth, maybe opening a second or third coffee shop, expanding your workforce, the whole shebang. Closely tied to that is market share, which is just your percentage of total sales within your entire industry. The bigger your slice of the pie, the more pricing power you have. But hey, it's not always just about the money. Some social enterprises exist purely for providing a service. Think of organizations running free ambulances or community food banks.
Moving on to Section 2. Why objectives evolve. The hero's journey of a business.
See, a business is essentially a living, breathing organization. Its goals simply can't remain static if it actually wants to succeed. They have to adapt. When a business first launches, let's say we're in month 1, it's squarely in the startup phase. The only objective that matters here is survival. You are fighting tooth and nail not to shut down. Fast forward to year 3, assuming you made it, and the business is stable. The objective naturally shifts from merely surviving to maximizing profit. By year 5, with a solid foundation under your belt, the business looks outward. The goal evolves into aggressive growth and capturing a larger market share to really outpace the competition. Long story short, objectives change because the business matures.
But progression isn't always a straight line forward, is it? The economic environment can shift violently and without warning. Think back to the COVID-19 recession. Suddenly, demand just plummeted globally. In that exact moment, even massive, mature businesses that were previously completely focused on dominating market share had to instantly revert their primary objective back to pure survival. Changing competition, new leadership, or massive economic shocks, they can reset a company's goals literally overnight.
Section 3. Setting goals that actually work.
So we know what the core objectives are and why they shift around. But how do you actually set a goal that gives your managers and employees a clear sense of direction? Well, you use SMART objectives. That means goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Think about it like a personal goal. If someone says, I want to lose weight, well, that's incredibly vague, right? There's zero clarity. But if they say, I want to lose 5 kilos of fat in 2 months, boom, suddenly you have a highly measurable target. It is the exact same in business. A vague goal like increase sales just creates confusion, but a SMART goal like increase sales by 10% in 6 months completely unites the entire business around a common measurable target. It creates real accountability, making planning and decision-making infinitely easier because every single action can be weighed against that specific metric.
All right, Section 4, the stakeholder map. Who is involved?
Okay, with our goals locked in, it's time to meet the cast of characters in this business ecosystem. Who actually cares whether these goals are met? Well, the absolutely crucial starting point is understanding the difference between two terms that get mixed up all the time: stakeholder and shareholder. A stakeholder is literally anyone, any individual or group that has a direct interest in the business's performance and activities. A shareholder, on the other hand, is specifically an owner who has purchased shares in a limited company. They're looking for a return on their investment and a capital gain. So think of it this way. Every single shareholder is a stakeholder, without a doubt, but not every stakeholder is a shareholder.
Let's actually map out this whole ecosystem. We can split stakeholders into 2 main camps: internal and external. Internal stakeholders are the folks working inside the business. You've got your owners and shareholders who want profit and growth. You've got managers wanting higher salaries, status, maybe that nice corner office. And you've got employees who want fair pay, good working conditions, and, a break room coffee machine that actually works.
Then you have your external stakeholders. These are groups outside the business who are still massively impacted by it. Customers want top-notch products at reasonable prices. Suppliers want regular orders and to be paid on time. Lenders want their loans repaid with interest. The government, they want taxes collected, low unemployment, and laws followed. And the local community wants jobs created but without their environment getting trashed by pollution.
Which brings us to Section 5, the ultimate tug of war, when goals clash.
Looking at that massive list of demands, you've probably realized something. It is literally impossible to keep everyone perfectly happy at the same time. Welcome to the ultimate tug of war. The first major clash is usually between owners and customers. The owner's main objective is to maximize profit, and honestly, the easiest way to do that is by raising the selling price. But the customer's main objective, getting the highest quality product at the lowest possible price. It's a direct head-on clash. If the owner pushes prices too high to satisfy their own goal, they're directly violating the customer's goal.
And here is another massive internal clash. Employees naturally want higher wages, better benefits, and more job security. But remember that formula for profit we talked about? Sales revenue minus costs. And wages are a huge cost. So every extra dollar an employee makes is quite literally a dollar out of the owner's pocket. The owner wants cost as low as possible, while the employee wants their compensation as high as possible. It is a total zero-sum dynamic that has to be managed really carefully.
But these conflicts definitely spill outside the company walls too. Let's say a business is hitting its 5-year goal. It's expanding, building a massive new factory, ramping up output. The owners are thrilled, probably popping champagne in the boardroom. But the local community? Well, suddenly they're dealing with heavy truck traffic, massive congestion, unbearable noise, and environmental pollution. In this case, the business's success is actively deteriorating the neighborhood's quality of life. So how do we fix this? Section 6. Solving business conflicts, achieving balance. So how in the world does a successful business survive all these competing demands without just completely tearing itself apart? Well, it comes down to strategic compromise. Step 1 is simply communication. You have to regularly consult with your stakeholders. I mean, you can't solve a problem if you don't fully understand their specific needs, right? Step 2 is finding the win-win by tying compromises to productivity. Let's go back to that clash between owners and employees over pay. The ideal scenario isn't just flat out saying no to wages. A smart business will offer those higher wages, but on the condition that the employees become more productive and efficient. If output goes up, sales go up. The employees get their money, and the owner still gets a higher overall profit. Seriously, everyone wins.
Beyond that, management constantly has to balance short-term gains against long-term reputation. Look, it can be incredibly tempting to cut corners to boost this month's profits. A business might try to use deceptive tactics to scam customers for quick cash, or use unethical suppliers relying on child labor just to get cheaper materials. Maybe they even ignore environmental laws to save on waste disposal costs. Sure, that saves a few bucks today. But the absolute second the public finds out, that brand's image is permanently destroyed. Customers will leave, governments will issue massive fines, and the whole business could collapse. Maintaining ethical, fair practices isn't just some feel-good talking point. It's an absolutely vital long-term strategy for building lasting trust. And trust is way more valuable than a quick, unethical buck.
So, we've seen the core goals, we've met the key players, and we've explored the incredible friction it takes to keep a business actually moving forward. It's just a constant, delicate balancing act. So I'm going to leave you with this to think about as you interact with companies in your everyday life. When push comes to shove, and a really tough decision has to be made, which stakeholders' needs do you think truly matter most? Keep learning, keep analyzing, and we'll see you in the next explainer.